We're going to learn how to do problems to find the volume of a cone. And so remember what volume is. You can think of it as filling something up, is how much space is in there if you're going to fill something with water. So when you have a cone, so you can think of that as like an ice cream cone or a party hat. So the formula is volume equals 1/3 times pi times r squared times h, and that's on the formula sheet, so you don't need to memorize the formula, but you need to know what the letters mean and how to use it. So volume equals 1/3 times pi. Remember, pi is just a number, and we estimate that as 3.14. That's also on the formula sheet. So that's just a number, 3.14. R means radius, and so it's the radius of the circle, because the cone at the end that's not pointy is going to be a circle, and so that's the radius of that circle. If you don't know what radius means, you need to watch the video on Facebook on circles and what radius and diameter mean. So it's radius squared times h, which is height, and so that's the height of the cone. That's from the pointy end to the middle of the circle. So in some of the other formulas, they talk about slant height. So slant height is this height that is essentially this slanty part. What's the length of that? The height we're talking about here is from the middle of the cone to the pointy end. So make sure you're looking at the right height. So once we have the radius and the height, we can find the volume. So in this example, let's say that the radius is 3 centimeters and that the height of the cone, we'll say, is 7 centimeters. What's the volume? Well, we just plug the numbers in. 1/3, so pi is 3.14. Radius, which we said is 3, radius squared, times height, which is 7. Remember, when these are all written beside each other, that means multiplication. So we have 1/3. Remember, you have to do exponents first, times 3.14 times 3 squared. So that means 3 times 3. If you don't know what exponents are, you need to watch that video as well. So 3 times 3, it's not 3 times 2, it's 3 times 3. So that's 9 times 7. So that you just plug into your calculator. How do you plug in 1/3 into your calculator? Well, remember, fractions are just divisions, so you can plug in 1 divided by 3. Or you can write this as 3.14 times 9 times 7 divided by 3. That's what 1/3 means, is everything divided by 3. So you can either plug in 1 divided by 3 into your calculator times 3.14 times 9 times 7, or 3.14 times 9 times 7, all divided by 3. And when you do that, you're going to get 65.94 centimeters cubed. Remember, when you're doing volume, the units are always cubic units, and so that can be a key to the question. If they're talking about cubic units, then you know you have a volume question. I'm doing another example. So now remember that we're looking at radius, and so sometimes what they might want to do is trick you by giving you the diameter of a circle. So let's say we have a cone, but they're telling us that the diameter is 10 inches and that the height is 12 inches. So diameter is 10 inches, height 12 inches. So again, to find the volume, we just plug that in. 1/3 pi is 3.14. Now, the radius. So don't get caught if they give you the diameter. You don't want the diameter, you need the radius. So if the diameter is 10, the radius is half of that. So the radius is 5. Again, if you don't know that, you need to watch the video on circles, radius, and diameter. So it's 5 squared times the height. 1/3. Remember, we have to do 5 squared first, which is 5 times 5 is 25, not 5 times 2, times 12. You can plug this into your calculator. And you're going to get 314 inches cubed. We're going to do one more question, which is going to involve some algebra instead of the straightforward question when they're giving you these two numbers. So here we're going to say that a cone has a radius of 4 inches and a volume of 151 inches, cubic inches that is. So cone has a radius of 4 inches and volume of 151 cubic inches. What is the approximate height? And we'll have some answers of 9 inches, 3 inches, 36 inches, 26 inches. What is the approximate height? So again, we're just going to plug the numbers in and then we're going to solve the algebra problem. If you don't know how to do algebra, then you need to watch those videos that are on the Facebook page. So here, volume they've given us is 151. So we just plug that in for V. 151 equals 1/3 times pi. So we're just writing the formula down again. Times radius squared. So radius, they said, is 4. So 4 squared times the height. That's what we're trying to figure out. So 151 equals 1/3 times 3.14. 4 squared is 16 times height. So now we can, there's multiple ways that you can figure out this algebra problem, so whatever makes most sense to you. But one thing we can do is just do this multiplication first. So we have 151 equals, and if you plug that into your calculator, 1/3 times 3.14 times 16, you're going to get a long number, but remember we're looking for approximate, so you can approximate that, round it off, we'll say 4 to 4 decimal places. So you get 151 equals 16.7467 times height. How do we solve for height? This is just a normal algebra problem, so we need to get rid of the 16.7467. So to get rid of that, you divide each side. Again, if you don't know how to do this, you need to watch the video. You divide each side by 16.467, and you end up with 9.017 equals height. So that is approximately 9 inches. So that would be the answer to this question.